If I get beyond that and I run for president, I have to show what's in my heart. I have to show that I care about people, about their future. It can't be about the past. It can't be about my mom and dad or my brother who I love. I love them all. It has to be about the ideas that I believe in to move our country forward so that we can have high sustained economic growth.
There is nothing like the whirlwind that is CPAC, where those who would be president gather to show their wares, flash their smiles, slam away at the enemy, and in many ways toss out the veritable red political meat to those who will help or hinder a path to the White House. Everybody talks about being a winner. However, we must deal in reality. Welcome back to MidPoint, radio talker, activist, founder of the War Media Group, and getting out the word also on WayneDupree.com. Wayne Dupree joins us. Good to see you again, Wayne.
Nice to see you again. How are you doing?
Excellent, my friend. Let's see. You were there at CPAC, so you were. As a matter of fact, I've seen a tremendous amount of your photos that you've been posting everywhere. You were rather popular, weren't you, young man?
Well, you know, we do what we do.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. You were doing a good job. Before we deal with CPAC, let's deal with a story that is sort of connected but comes today. Ben Carson has announced today that he has established a presidential exploratory committee. No real shock, but I guess the big question that people are going to be asking is, does Ben Carson really have a chance, or is he looking to be someone who basically just helps to create policy?
You know what? You hit the nail right on the head. He had a really good response to start off CPAC. Actually, he started off CPAC. Mm-hmm. The young people, oh my goodness, they ran to him like a moth to a flame. I mean, they really supported him, and they liked what he had to say. And I think him being away from the DC political climate helps him in some regard, but you also have to look at, can he reach the Republican households? Can he hold, or can he even possibly win a debate with some of those seasoned political or politicians?
Well, let's ask that question. Do you think he could?
You know what? He would do good answering the questions. I'm not sure, again, political wise, because that's the nature that we cover and the nature that we watch. I'm not sure he could win a debate. I know he would get good reviews. You know, usually like the Pauls, Rand Paul, Ron Paul, they get good reviews during the debate. But when it comes up to people pulling that lever for him, then, you know, people think,
yeah, they always kind of shake a little bit when they get to that lever a little bit. They wait. I got about 2 minutes before we break. Come back and talk more. But okay, CPAC. Yeah. 2 big winners, 2 big losers. Go with the losers first, in your opinion.
Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush, he brought some people in with him. He got in. He did his talking points. He really doesn't have a crowd at CPAC. Now, the room was full. The room was full, I will say that.
Except for the Tea Party members who respectfully left before he started talking, right?
Exactly, right. And I would probably say the second person would be Chris Christie. No type of audience. I mean, you could tell the CPAC audience when they were for somebody and when they were against somebody. Yeah, we'll talk about the winners later. But with the losers, you had the little golf clap. You know, the respectful, you really did okay. But, you know, that's about it.
All right, then 60 seconds. We're going to break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit about news and such. But those 60 seconds, the 2 winners, and why do I have this? I'll go ahead and put my prediction ad on here. Let's see. I'm going to say Rand Paul and Scott Walker. How'd I do?
Half.
Okay.
Especially from me, because I'm coming at this biased. You knew Rand Paul was going to do great because the Pauls always do great. Ron Paul did great, Rand Paul. But Scott Walker came in and barely missed out in beating Rand Paul. That was big. And the second person that really surprised me was Rubio. Rubio really commanded the room there for a while. Ted Cruz, you expected him to do it, but Rubio really sounded vice presidential. Okay? Keep that in mind, vice presidential.
That's not usually something that would be a good thing from somebody. I don't think Marco's going to be happy that you just called him vice presidential.
I know.
I think you lost him right there. All right, hang on. We got to take a break now that we've done that.
Okay.
And by the way, we will be sending a transcript of this to Marco Rubio, just in case you're wondering.
Oh, maybe
Yeah.
Well, maybe I get an interview and maybe he can sway me a different way.
There you go. See, there's always a way to work this. All right, hang tight. A couple minutes here, Wayne, from the American Embassy in Cuba to the issue of Hillary Clinton and her emails and a whole lot more. After the break, we sally forth into this uncharted territory with Wayne Dupree right here on MidPoint. Welcome back, syndicated radio talker, activist Wayne Dupree. By the way, recently named Blogger of the Year by the American Conservative Union. Congratulations. Nicely done.
Thank you so much.
All right, there you go. See, we always get those little plugs in there as well. Let's get on with some of the news here. Interesting with Hillary Clinton, because out comes the report in the New York Times last night. Apparently, while she was Secretary of State, she was using her personal email address, which is frowned upon. And now, of course, there were a lot of people saying, well, maybe it was in the spirit. And there are those saying, well, maybe it wasn't in the spirit because Hillary Clinton's been around politics a long time and she should know better. I think this has a lot of people now asking questions about, can they trust Mrs. Clinton and what she may have been hiding? It doesn't make a difference whether you like her or not. Simply those questions, I think, have to be raised.
She knew the rules. I mean, she's been in politics since the early 70s, so she knew what she was doing. And for her to try to skirt around it or to have your usual liberal defenders try to give her a way out is just the way that they roll. It's just the way that they act. They think that they're above the law, and they think that they can get away with doing this. And she knew she was wrong. There's no question about it.
But what could be the possible reason here? I think that's what we need to all talk about here, Wayne. What could she have been hiding? What could she not have wanted to be seen?
Money changing hands, how she felt about possibly even Barack Obama, how he was taking care of the nation. Or, I mean, I'm sure a lot had to do with Benghazi too. You know how they so-called lost Lois Lerner's emails, but I'm sure there's some Benghazi emails somewhere in there for her personal stuff.
Do you think, though, that what we have learned, and again, there's investigations that have to be held. This is going to go a lot deeper. But you have this, you have the discussion of foreign money, perhaps going to the Clinton Foundation. You have one of their high-ranking execs at the Clinton Foundation who recently resigned, Benghazi, sitting here. Should Mrs. Clinton bow out and basically announce that she is not going to run for president because of all this?
The smart American loyal thing to do would be to bow out, but she is not that loyal. I mean, I'm sure sooner or later you're going to hear what difference does it make, you know, and for Americans, we have to hold her way more accountable than just doing it on social media. I mean, she's doing this, and she's doing this with no remorse. And she should bow out. She should bow out. She shouldn't even try to run, because these things are going to hamper. They're going to be asked, and there's no way that she can get out from around it. You know, so just do us all a favor and move alongside. But we all know the Clintons, though. The Clintons love the camera, and they love to lie. I used to be a Democrat. I know. So yeah.
I got about 60 seconds left here. The president says that he hopes the U.S. will open their embassy in Cuba by the time of the Western Hemisphere Summit in Panama in mid-April. How are you dealing with the whole Cuban issue here and the creation of an embassy?
Well, he needs another vacation spot. That's probably why he's doing it. I mean, let's talk. He probably has family down there that nobody really knows about either. So, let's see where the winds go with the Republicans that have taken over, and because it has to pass. It has to pass Republican. He sure can't use a pen and a phone on this one. So let's see what the Republicans do.
Well, don't worry about it. I'm sure there may be an executive action somewhere in his future. Now he says he may want to do executive action on taxes. So that'll be next.
Yeah, he's the bright bird of happiness, isn't he?
Certainly when it comes down to taxes, that is the bird of happiness, or something else as a matter of fact. Wayne, always a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend.
Thank
Stay
you.
good,
Thanks
keep
so
working.
much.
We'll talk to you again soon.
Got it.
All right,
Bye-bye.
buddy, take care. Hey, once more into the Tuesday breach. It always seems that we bring this saying up: those who do not learn from the mistakes of history are doomed to repeat them in some way, shape, form, or another. That always comes up. And this is how, no matter who is in the White House, no matter who is in charge, we have failed to learn from our mistakes on Iran. And boy, have we made a lot. Telling it like it is next. Closes out the Tuesday Call on MidPoint right here, right after this.